Welcome to the Wilding the Lamb podcast, episode 2. We're talking about the Book of Mormon, First Nephi chapters 1 through 5. My name is Jeff Holderness, and this is Christian McMullen. We'll be discussing anything and everything that we can in this podcast. We go into a lot of tangents this time, but I think you guys are really going to like what we've got to say.
I'm really good at that, at going into tangents.
We both are.
It's very difficult to not go into tangents, but it's fun and it's good insight.
Definitely good insight. So hope you guys enjoy, and we'll see you afterwards. So yeah, just some thoughts and stuff that I had as I was reading these. In regards to kind of the chapters and stuff, dude, what a faithful person Lehi was to just like have an experience like he did at the beginning in chapter 1. He prays, receives a vision, and like immediately starts preaching the gospel to the people of Jerusalem, who he had like tried to cast out and kill other prophets that had been speaking this way. And it's just interesting to me to see kind of his perspective again, and just the faith that he had in order to go and do that. I think that'd be hard. We served missions, and like persecution, I don't know. A couple people probably like yelled at me.
Dude, I was in the South. I was persecuted all the time. You're burning in hell. All right.
Yeah, tell me about that. I literally
No, it actually wasn't that bad. It wasn't. There's so many people there. You hear a lot of horror stories.
Yeah.
Horror stories
that are like
quote unquote, but no, it wasn't that bad. I only had a couple times where people were like, "You're gonna burn in hell," and stuff like that. But no, most people down there, even like the ones that Southern Baptists, are the ones that they're the meanest ones towards the Mormons or whatever.
Yeah.
But I had such awesome discussions even with Southern Baptists, and they were very like hesitant on like us talking to them about like what's in the scriptures.
Yeah.
They just want to talk about Jesus.
Yeah.
And so that if we kept the conversation about Jesus, and anytime we were tried to like bring anything Book of Mormon, like no. But they this one family in particular. I remember we were tracting. It was a Sunday, and they were Southern Baptist, and they were like, "Hey, you guys want to come have some hot dogs and hamburgers and watch some NASCAR?" We're like, "Yeah, let's go."
Dude, those were the best when you could just like hang out with people and like just talk to them, get to know them, figure out who they are, what they believe. Yeah, really a lot of the fun parts that kind of come with it.
Yeah, that was super fun.
No, that's cool. My mission was like because it was Mandarin speaking, Chinese people like don't understand Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Like even when you describe it to them, like they don't really get it, and so like they just thought we were really weird. Like it's like a bunch of white guys that can speak Mandarin.
It would be an interesting, yeah, because I don't know if I've ever talked to anybody who didn't know who Christ was.
Yeah, or like they know of him, like they've heard about him obviously and stuff, but they don't like they don't even have their religion is mostly it's like Confucianism and Taoism, and like neither one of those have like deity. It's more like worship of ancestors, like the people who came before you and stuff. And so yeah, it was just really interesting for them to like try to figure out really what why they needed a Christ, like needed a savior and stuff like that. It was just interesting. But we were never ever like persecuted. I might have had like some crazy people talk to me on the street and like, but never like most of the Chinese people just thought we were really cool because we could speak, or really weird.
Yeah, dude. Like I expected when I went on my mission, because you hear all these stories from other missionaries about all this crazy stuff happening to 'em. Yeah, and like I get down there, like being in the ghetto and all this stuff, and I was in some super ghetto areas. Um, but yeah, I had a pimp one time come and try to solicit to me. That was probably one of the craziest things in that area. Um, but yeah, that was so weird. Ride bike down the road with my companion. We were in a pretty ghetto area, and he's like, "Hey, you want to come check out my team?" Like, no, no, I don't. No, thank you. You want to hear about Jesus?
Jesus saves, man. That's awesome. No, but like after witnessing these prophets and stuff get ran out of Jerusalem, dude, it would have been pretty tough to like, all right, let's try this out. Let's go for it. Um, and I don't really know how long he preached, but I just thought that was interesting. He really went for it, and then once they decided that they wanted to kill him and stuff, at that point, God was like, all right, man, you and your family got to get out. So it's interesting, and I wonder like what I would be like in that in that type of situation. I think it'd be pretty hard. I mean, obviously, if you like have a vision, it would be it would be pretty cool, but um, and it might be like slightly a little bit easier to go along with it. But overall, I think it'd still be really difficult to like pack up, move your family. Um, and yeah, he was obviously a wealthy person, and um, kind of gave it all up.
It's kind of a cool story.
Yeah, while going through chapters 1 through 5, I was actually thinking a lot about Laman and Lemuel. You know, they got pissed off all the time, beating Nephi up, beating Sam up, wanting to kill him, tying him up and stuff. Which they did during these chapters. They tied up Nephi, and then Nephi prays and gets loose of his bands. But I was thinking about Laman and Lemuel, and I was like, I bet you like 95%.
You'd be Laman or Lemuel.
Most people
Oh, yeah.
nowadays, like I think seriously, like in the church, there'd be a super, super high number that you'd be like, not necessarily like murderous, like wanting to kill whoever, but you'd be like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But we had, I mean, I guess you could look at the pioneers. There were probably a lot of people who were maybe thinking the same way, but they trucked across the United States and stuff. So I don't know. So maybe I'm totally wrong on that one.
But
Well, but like there was probably a lot of people that didn't come. Like there were a lot that came from England and stuff, believed, hey, let's go do this. But I wonder like how many believed and were like, yeah, we're just gonna hang out here. Like you guys go take care of that.
Yeah.
Once it's settled and the Indians are gone, we'll come after. Well, and I don't know that that's necessarily bad either, though. It's just cool how God like different things for different people works, and He kind of lets it happen. Like as people, um, some people choose to go, they're blessed for it. They grow. Their testimony and stuff grows in Christ, and the struggles and stuff of going across the plains that strengthen them. But then, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, even like Emma Smith and stuff, she stayed back, and like that was okay for her. Like, and I don't think she's gonna be like judged for that decision by not going.
Which I actually really, really like that point of a conversation when it comes to like commandments and stuff in the church, because we all have our own path back to the celestial kingdom.
yeah,
But some of that path is the same for everybody. Making certain covenants or whatever, with like baptism, receiving the gift of the Holy Ghost, endowments, all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Like that, all of that aspect is the same. But we're all individual people, and we all need and will require to go through different trials and different things like that.
yeah,
And so, a commandment that you may get from God may not be one that I need,
Yeah.
and so I'm not going to get it from him. Like God may tell me to stop playing video games,
Yeah.
but that'd be for me, not for you. That doesn't mean you need to go stop playing video games because God told me to go stop playing video games. That's what might be something that I need, not that you need. And you know, to go a little, I guess it can be considered controversial. It's a lot less controversial now than it was in the past.
Yeah.
But caffeine, I think, is a perfect example.
Mhm.
Like I've not ever seen anything that has strictly said don't drink caffeine. And so I've been like talking to my wife, where I was like, I bet you there was somebody who was like made some connection between tea, coffee, and caffeine. I was like, oh, well, they both have caffeine in it. I was like, I'm gonna pray and see if it's the caffeine. And then they did, and then they received their own personal revelation that they shouldn't drink caffeine for them. And then somehow that just blew up.
The entire church follows it
And
for
now the
some
whole
reason.
church follows no caffeine. But like I think that's that's something important. It's like personal revelation is just that, personal. And if you receive something that you shouldn't be doing, that does not mean that your neighbor shouldn't be doing it too.
Yeah.
They could be doing it and it doesn't matter.
No, I like that a lot, and I think it's definitely true, and it's something that we don't talk about a lot. We tend to focus on like, hey, this is what the prophet says, this is a commandment for the church or whatever. It's for everyone. Follow the prophet type thing. But sometimes you have to like stop and take a stand on some things. Um, recently, one thing it was kind of a tough thing for my wife and I. We were like, when the COVID stuff hit a couple of years ago, we totally like prayed about the vaccines, and we both felt like super strong from the Lord not to take them and like not to give them to our kids and stuff. And so we were like, all right, this is what we're doing. We're not gonna do that. And we kind of made that conscious decision and stuff. And then I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks later when like the church came out and was like, hey, we encourage everyone to go do these, and like did videos with the prophet and stuff getting these. And we were kind of like, wait, what? And it kind of was like a little ding to our armor, because we were like, oh, like what? Like what are we supposed to do with this? We didn't end up taking them.
Same.
So I mean, there's that, but I honestly think that like personal revelation and stuff is key. And yeah, Lehi, there were prophets before that said that Jerusalem was going to get destroyed and stuff. They could have prophesied to leave, or that people need to leave, or do different things, but Lehi went out, received his own revelation, and figured out what he needed to do for his family. And like it wasn't hang out with the prophets and get martyred with them. It was, hey, take your family, get out. So I definitely think that sometimes what's right for you could be contrary to what the church is doing, or what's happening on those items.
On what's the norm.
Yeah, you kind of have to take it. Pray that your faith in God and in His Son Jesus Christ, and your relationship with them, and the spirit that you're feeling and stuff is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and I think about like just trying to imagine Lehi after he receives the revelation that he needs to take his family and leave Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And then going back to his wife and be like, so got some good and bad news. Good news. I received some personal revelation for our family. Bad news is I know you're really comfortable. You have all the money you need, comfortable life. We're going to leave it all here and go hike across the continent. And leave.
No.
And it's going to suck. And it's going to be hard.
And like, we don't know how long we're going to go. We don't know
Where are we going?
where we're going.
I don't know.
He just told us to leave. Oh,
Wait,
man.
you don't know where we're going? No.
Oh, I can't imagine.
How are we getting there? Walking in camels? What?
And we're not taking, all we're taking is, provisions and what we've got. Yeah, holy cow. The faith of his entire family, like even Laman and Lemuel, sometimes I'm like, dude, why didn't they just stay? Like, if they like hated it so much, why didn't they just stay in Jerusalem? From the beginning, they're kind of like mad and upset about it, and it's just interesting to me. And it's probably like the family dynamics back then. I'm sure you stayed together as a family a lot more. Like, we're kind of, hey, you're 18, get out, or like, hey, you're in your mid 20s, get out. But they probably like stayed in family units a lot longer. But I've always kind of thought about that too. Like, yeah, you guys could have just peaced out. Like,
Yeah, I wonder if there was something with the like very like cultural wise, if there was something there cultural wise where it's like they almost didn't really have an option because their dad and mom were leaving. They had to go with them basically. Yeah. And so yeah, I wonder what that was like.
I do like to, I think in chapter 2, I like that Nephi like decides to find out for himself whether the revelation received from his dad was true. Which I think is cool too. Like we can bounce ideas off of each other. I can receive revelation and talk about it with you, and it may or may not be right for you, but you can go to God and find out for yourself if that's something that you need to do or not. And I think that aspect of it and of the church is really cool that they do tend to allow like a pretty big leeway on like that kind of personal revelation. What's right for you? What's right for your family? What's right for each other? And I think just like Nephi, sometimes we can do that too. Where, hey, dude, if you want to find something out, like get on your knees, pray, study it, figure out what it means to you, um, and figure out how it kind of ties in with your relationship with God, your relationship with your family, that kind of thing.
Well, Nephi knew where his trust lied, right? So he's like, I understand, like I respect my father. I will listen to my father, listen to his teachings, but also know, like I don't know if this is the way he's thinking, but it's just like the way that I imagine the way I would be if but he was like, I'm gonna listen to my dad, but I want to like I just want to make sure because if you have that personal revelation and testimony of whatever it is, the trusting in the well, if you're trusting in the source, which is God, learning. I'm not saying this very gracefully, but um, like learning for yourself if something is true or not, regardless of who it came from, makes it so it's that much easier to follow because we are man, we do make mistakes, and his dad could have made a mistake somehow, some way, and but Nephi is like, I trust my dad. I want to go take it to the source of truth and go confirm it because he has that trust already built with God. Which, if there's anything that I take away from Nephi, it's probably that is the trust that he has in his relationship with Heavenly Father.
No, yeah, and it's so adamant throughout the entire of both of his books. He definitely has a great relationship with his Father in heaven, and that really protects him and turns him into who he is. And I think that's something that we can definitely take and learn from it. When did you like? Do you remember the first time that like you received your own personal like testimony that wasn't like based on your parents or based on?
Mm, it's kind of a hard one. Like, yeah, it's kind of a hard one because I think mine was more like the phrase that the church uses sometimes, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. I think it was more along that line. And then there were just, just different experiences about with the Book of Mormon and teaching, like really teaching on my mission and different things like that.
Yeah.
That really solidified that. I went to school at ISU, Idaho State, when I was 18.
Yeah.
And when I left, I didn't have any intentions on really going on a mission or anything. I didn't freaking care.
Yeah.
But I eventually started hanging out with the missionaries because I needed rides all the time. And I like fell in love with missionary work, hanging out with them. And then I was like, I'm gonna go on a freaking mission. This is cool. And so then went and worked on getting ready to go on a mission. I didn't go till I was almost 21.
Yeah.
But um but yeah, so there was some just learning through that time with the missionaries. And then uh there were a couple occasions reading stuff in the Book of Mormon where it just like hits you.
Yeah.
Um one of those was when in 3rd Nephi, when Christ visits the Americas,
Yeah.
and he blesses the children. That when I was reading through the Book of Mormon one time, and that hit, I became just like a sobbing mess.
That's awesome, dude.
But so that was, but I wouldn't say that that's like the time where I was like, I know that this is true. I think that just was, like I said, just here or there. It's just time. It's just kept building over time.
For you. That's cool. No, I think that's super admirable. I think that's awesome that you like decided to go on a mission even after like being 21. Um, I think that takes a lot of bravery, dude, because a lot of people like it's just different. A lot of people go when they're, I guess back then I think it was 19. I'm trying to remember when, yeah, it was 19 when you did it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just like, oh, I'm 19, I'm gonna go or whatever.
I never would have lasted, to be honest. If I would have gone when I was 19, I never would have made it through my mission. I would have gone out. I probably would have made it through the MTC, and I would have gone out there, and then like I would have eventually just been like, "This is freaking stupid," because missions are,
Dude,
they're not easy.
They're not easy.
It's like you get set up with an arranged marriage, but it's with another dude.
Yep.
And so there's no perks of marriage. So, well, it is, man. And it's like our mission president, yeah, our mission president was like, if you tried to be like, I want a new companion, he'd be like, well, I don't believe in divorce, elder. And it's like, well, I don't freaking believe in arranged marriage. Like, so that's kind of how I kind of pictured, my companions.
Yeah.
Some of them are freaking awesome, and then others I like could not wait for the day that we were finally not together.
Yeah.
Sorry, elders, if you ever watch this, you know who you are.
No, missions are like totally unique experience for sure.
But it does really help you, it's a tangent, whatever, but it does really help you to prepare for marriage.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you get married, it's like you never lived with that person before, and then all of a sudden they're squeezing the toothpaste from the wrong side of the, it's like, wait, what?
Whatever.
Yeah, but you just have to live with it.
No, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, my mission, I guess for me, it was like, so I like I went on a mission because it was what holdernesses do. You turn 19 and you go. And like I had a testimony. I'd like read the Book of Mormon and stuff before, so it was like minuscule. It wasn't super, um, like strong. But I was like, yeah, it'll be a cool opportunity to like go and serve and possibly learn a new language, that kind of thing. But I remember in the MTC, like I was in the MTC. I think it was like 12 weeks.
Jeez, that is a long. I would have gotten so fat, dude. I entered the MTC at 165, and I was only there for 3 weeks, and I left at 180.
Holy crap, dude. That's awesome.
I ate so much food when I was in the MTC.
Anyway, so I was there forever, and I just remember like probably like 9 weeks in, I was like, dude, like I can't do this unless I know. And like I need to know that this is what I need to do. And I just remember one night, like super late, everyone else had like gone to bed. They all said their prayers and stuff and got in the bunk beds and things like that. And I just like got out and got on my knees and prayed for a while. And like I can't remember exactly what I felt or like why or what I was thinking about or anything like that. But I totally remember just being like, dude, like you're in the right place. Just go do it. And to me, that was enough. I, went, served my mission and stuff like that. But it was just like, this is what you need to do. So for me, since then, it was a pretty big deal. And like, you kind of like, your testimony kind of goes up and down, and like it'll plateau sometimes. And then like sometimes you get like I call them downloads, where like sometimes, dude, you just get like this rush of like information, or like you're reading something and like this huge thing, aha moment pops out at you. Um, and so like there's kind of that ebb and flow of the gospel. Um, so I've definitely had ebbs and flows and things like that come in, but that's kind of what I pinpoint. Like, dude, that was my really like, hey, dude, this is it. And so looking back, it's kind of cool that it's similar to Nephi, um, and so it works. Like there's something to it, at least for me and Nephi and some other people. So try it out, see what you think. But yeah, I think those are some good insights.
Well, let's I definitely want to get to that because it's an awesome part of First Nephi. But again, thinking about just all of them, not just Laman and Lemuel, but Nephi and Sam and Sariah. Um, and they packed up their stuff, they left. I don't know how long they were gone for before Lehi was like, "Hey, uh, we've sorry guys, um, we forgot a couple things. I need you to go get it." Um, and the it was the brass plates,
Mhm.
which is the genealogy of Lehi,
Mhm.
and was the first thing. And so they go out there, they go get the brass plates, and he's like, "Hey, I need you guys to go back and get this." They're like, "What?" I just can imagine the way that they're thinking. They're like, "Are you freaking kidding me? Like, why didn't we grab that before we left?" It's like we're already gone. Like it's too late. Like I would be like, "Oh, I'm already going. Like I'm not going. I'm not going back." It's like when I leave the house and I like leave my wallet and I'm like right around the corner, like 30 seconds from home. Like that's staying at home.
Yeah, the odds of me getting pulled over are low. It's like I'm not gonna do that. That's awesome. No, that's true. I was listening to, they were talking about that trip, and I guess it's like 200 miles from Jerusalem to the Red Sea, which is where they were supposedly camping
At that time,
where they say at that time. So it's like walking from Boise to Twin Falls, and then turning around and walking back.
Twin Fall like that far. Hey guys, I need you guys to walk back because I'm old. Your mom's old. We ain't going
We're
back.
gonna camp here in this nice valley
You
next to
guys
this
are
river.
you guys are young. You're strong.
Yeah, no wonder Layman and Lemuel were like.
And then Layman and Lemuel actually did it and like listened to their dad
Yeah,
to go do it.
I think they got some admonishing. I think he had to yell at him a little bit, but
Probably pull out the whip.
I know. And I'm sure Nephi helped too. But no, in that, like, they were still good men. I mean, they struggled with some stuff, but they were still pretty good. They still had respect and honor for their parents and went and did what they were asked to do, which was interesting. I love that in those scriptures. I think Lehi's like, hey, the Lord's commanded you guys to go back and get these plates from Laban. And I think Laman and Lemuel are like, this is a hard thing you're asking of us, Dad.
Like, do you not know who Laban is?
Yeah. But it's just interesting to me that like they didn't have full confidence like Nephi did that a lot of what was coming out of their dad's mouth was coming from God rather than just their crazy senile old dad.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like we probably think that way about our parents too, as they start to get older and start to have ideas and ask us to do things. But
yeah, because Nephi, he, like we were just talking about a little bit ago, he has that trust in God. He's like, and just like the primary song, I will go, I will do.
Yeah.
And they were commanded to go get the plates, and he's like, all right. He's like, I have no freaking idea how this is gonna work.
Yeah.
We'll go get them one way or another, and just kept being persistent. And
yeah, and I like, after they get to Jerusalem, they go and try to get the plates originally. Laban throws them out, and then it's Nephi's idea to go get their like gold and stuff. And sometimes I think like, dude, he probably thought that was like gonna be it. Like,
yeah,
hey,
it's like, oh, we have all this money.
Yeah, I've received this inspiration.
Fine.
Dude, let's go get all of this stuff. We'll totally trade for them. Like, this is totally gonna work. This is exactly what the Lord wanted us to do. In order to get the plates and stuff. This is how we left our stuff in Jerusalem so that we could get the plates afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And then it falls apart. He's like, oh, maybe my great idea wasn't that great.
But maybe they take all those riches and they go take them to Laban.
Yeah.
To give it to give to him, and they gave him, like, from my understanding, they give him literally like everything that they had.
Yeah.
It's like, here, take this and give us the brass plates. And he's like, holy crap, you guys got a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm now going to kill you. I'm just going to keep this and my brass plates.
Yep.
And so now they bail. But like, if you think about that, what did that just eliminate for that entire family? You think? That just eliminated any temptation to go back for their riches, because now they're gone.
Yeah.
They don't have them anymore. So that is literally there's no reason for them to now go back, because they have literally nothing.
Dude, that's interesting.
So it's like maybe that was still part of God's plan, was to, this is all like theory.
Yeah, just
but but it's like, but maybe it was. God has us do things that we don't understand why, and it really is not explained like that in there. But they did have all those riches there that, Laman and Lemuel probably would have eventually bailed on their family and gone back if all those riches were still there, because they could have gone back after a while and not have all those riches and be super rich and just live an awesome life. But they gave all the riches to Laban, and now they don't have it. And so now there's literally nothing for them to go back to.
Nah, dude, that's actually like a pretty cool insight. I'd never thought of that before. And while you were talking about that, I thought of another thing. I wonder if that's why Laban was celebrating, like, that night, dude.
You celebrated that night because of all the riches he just got.
Heck yeah, dude. He's like, let's go party. Yeah, man. Anyway, just kind of interesting, like how that all ends up.
Which is another way that it was all part of the Lord's plan. Mm-hmm. Hey, yeah, go take those riches, and gave them to Laban.
Yeah.
And he gave them to him, and no, they didn't. They all ran away and went and hid in the cavity of a rock,
Dude,
but the Lord planned it in a way that Laban knew what he was going to do, because he just received all those riches, got all those riches. Then he went and partied, got drunk. And then we go to chapter 4. Well, probably in 4 now, but chapter 4, when Nephi, he goes back to get him, and he's like, He's like, no, we have to go get the plates. I don't know how we're going to do it. What the Lord commanded us to do it. He's going to provide a way for us to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, I have no idea how, but I'm just going to trust him. And let's go do it.
Yeah.
And so he goes back in. Laban comes stumbling out of wherever, some alleyway that Nephi was like hunkering down in because he has to sneak around the guards. And then Laban just comes wandering on by, drunk off his mind, and passes out right in front of him. What?
I know. Like, he's just got to be thinking, man, like, what are the odds? Do you know what I mean? How on earth? I love that. I think, like, as he's leaving the safety of the cavity of the rock and stuff, I think Nephi's talking about how, like, he's gonna go and do it, but he doesn't know. I think it's like, I can't remember how he words it, but it's he didn't know where he was gonna go or like what he was gonna do exactly. He was just going, like, hey, I'm gonna just follow the spirit and go. And I think that a lot of times in our life, sometimes God will like tell us exactly what we need to do, or like we have an idea of what we need to do, and He kind of says, "Yeah, that's an all right idea." But then there are other times when like He kind of makes you just like blindly, like, "Hey, you need to have faith in yourself and in me, and just kind of go and do what we need you to." But dude, this is like one of my favorite chapters because it totally reminds me of like of war and warriors, and I mean people like Navy SEALs, like Army Rangers, that kind of thing. Like, he goes under the cover of darkness, totally sneaks into the city of Jerusalem. Um, like, no one can know they're there. No one can know that his family have left. And he goes to try to. I'm imagining like he's thinking he's got to steal the plates, or he's got to like figure out how to get them somehow.
Probably what he thought, so he was going to have to steal them. Yeah, that's what I would think.
Yeah.
And how do I do this or whatnot? And then he finds Laban, and is prompted to kill him, which I find cool and interesting. It kind of goes against what we think are the commandments of God.
Mhm.
And yet he, you know, and even Nephi kind of questions it, and then eventually he, does what he needs to do. But yeah, I've been thinking if I, stumbled upon a dead guy or a drunk, passed out guy that I was supposed to kill, I don't think I would cut off his head, and it might be like I guess to me
That'd
in
be like
my
the
eyes,
fastest, cleanest,
you think so?
least painful way to kill him.
But to me, it's like I'd probably like stab him in the heart, or like, I guess maybe you can scream that way, but like cutting off someone's head, dude, like I don't think that's like the first thing I would have thought about. But maybe they lived a lot of Moses and stuff, so maybe people got their heads cut off all the time and it was like a normal thing. But like, you know what I mean? And like to wear his clothes, there had to be so much like blood and everything.
I know.
And like I just can't imagine that I'd be like,
Maybe like dragged him and like propped him over a barrel or something.
just like picks him up, cuts off his head, and then dons his apparel. No, but yeah,
Or maybe he took off his apparel before.
yeah, maybe
Maybe he had the idea of wearing his stuff before. He's like, I'm going to wear all this.
better take some of it off.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I want to be a fly on the wall. Like if we get to go back and like check out these these awesome things that happen, this is gonna be like one of my big ones. I think this whole experience is just super cool.
Dude, this one and freaking Tiankum sneaking into the camp to kill Malachi.
Yeah.
Whoever it
Jail
was.
or whatever.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun one.
Not Malachi. I don't remember the dude's name.
Yeah.
I always forget.
There are a lot of them happen in the scriptures.
No, but I think it gives me like some hope. There's a part of me, I always wanted to join the army, and not that like I have like a thirst to kill people, but like the ability to know how to do that
Mhm.
and like to know that I could if I needed to, I feel like is something that like I've always kind of like wanted just to like for like self-defense or like family protection, that kind of thing. Like I've always just kind of wanted to feel some of that. Um and like there might be some day in the future when like we're called upon to do things like this. And a part of it gives me hope that like if that does happen, I have the strength to do it. Like if we're prompted to do this and to make these type of decisions, um, that I can kind of turn to Nephi and be like, I'm not the only one. Like someone else has been prompted to do this before. Um, and it's interesting to me, Nephi wrote this after he had gotten to the promised land.
Mhm.
And so like he could have just like brazed over this and just said like, "Hey, we went to Jerusalem. It was hard. Took us 3 tries, but we got the plates and like got out." But he doesn't. He goes into pretty good detail, like exactly what he had to do to get the plates, and I think there's something in that, um, because well, I mean, it's a cool war story. I'm sure he was sharing it a little bit, but um, anyway, just some interesting thoughts about it that I have.
Yeah, and did you ever watch the Living Scriptures
Yeah.
where like yeah,
Yeah.
where they showed Nephi going and doing this and then putting on the clothes? I was always confused
Mhm.
because Laban in that cartoon
Yeah.
is like super fat.
This Bill dude.
And Nephi is not. He's like this like ripped dude who's large in stature, like the scriptures say.
Yeah.
And so then he puts on his clothes, and the part that confused me was like he put on his clothes and then goes to the treasure keeper. Well, I don't know what he was, like his
Yeah.
role, but goes to what is his name? Zoram. And fool Zoram. I was like, wait,
There's no way I'd be fooled.
like but they don't even look the same. It's like he's not fat. The other dude's fat. It's like you wouldn't trick him. Like and like being a little kid, you like don't understand.
Yeah.
Like they're not trying to be accurate on the sizes of them. But it was just thinking about that. I always think about that whenever I listen to the story. It's like they must have been the same, like pretty close to the same size.
Same size and like voice. I think he in the scriptures it's like I called out in the voice of Laban. So like they had to have had like in their communications, he had to know like who Laban was, and um he's able to fool Zoram, which is kind of interesting. And at that point he gets the plates and Zoram follows him out of the city and they go find his brothers and stuff.
And they must have, and Zoram must have had like a good relationship with Laban because if Zoram didn't have a good relationship with Laban, he was either he either had a good relationship with him or he was really dumb.
Or like flat out of
Or that. Yeah, I guess that's true too.
you know.
He could have just been like, well, I have to. I don't have much of a choice. And just, yeah, give me these plates. Now follow me.
Yeah.
Hey, where are we going?
No, I love.
Are you going to take me to your party?
I'm super impressed with Zoram. The end of chapter 4, something happens that I always, whenever I read it, I'm like blown away by it. It's crazy to me that they talk to Zoram and they're like, "All right, dude." Like after they come out, after Nephi reveals that he's not Laban and stuff, Zoram tries to leave. Nephi grabs him. They're holding him, and um, they tell Zoram about. They ask him if he wants to come with them, and he kind of like mulls it over. But then they make him swear an oath that he'll come with them, and then like everything's cool.
Yeah, because wasn't it about like his safety though? It's like because it was an oath about. I'm trying to remember because it was something because it the oath is what made him feel comfortable in going with them.
And I think, like, vice versa, it made them feel comfortable that he
Bringing
wasn't gonna,
him.
like, kill him,
Yeah.
or he wasn't going to run away. But, like, every time I'm always like, there's no way if I was in that situation that I would have trust nowadays
Mhm.
in anyone, like in anyone's word.
Yeah.
And
Which is a big problem, right? I mean,
huge.
think about that these days. It's like your word is your bond. It's like that doesn't mean freaking crap now.
Yeah.
It's like,
No,
but it should.
it should.
And
Yeah.
and you know this goes perfectly in line with like the purpose of this podcast.
Yeah. 100%.
Like if you say you're gonna do something as a man, you freaking do it.
Yeah.
And you figure out how to do it, or you know come up with means to make it happen. No, and that's something that's definitely missing. Something that and even it's easy to say, yeah, I don't think I can do that with strangers, but there's like a lot of people that I know that even then I'm like,
Yeah.
Swearing an oath back, like that was again, that's a cultural. That was
Yeah.
probably a super big cultural thing there. It's like if you swore an oath to somebody,
Yeah.
it was
I'm sure it was your life.
yeah.
Okay,
Well,
we're
was
not
that
here.
part of? Is there somewhere about this? Is me total lack of knowledge. Is that something that had to do with the law of Moses, where if you swore an oath, like if you broke it, you die or something?
I have no idea.
I'm curious
That's a good
now.
question. Let me grab my scriptures because I am curious now, like exactly what it says.
For that oath.
Yeah. Let's see.
This happens in no, that's still in 4.
Yeah, it's like the very end of 4.
All right, let's take a look. See,
So 34.
it's down towards the end.
Yeah, so verse
34, chapter 4, verse 34. And I spake unto him, saying, Surely the Lord hath commanded us to do this thing, and shall we not be diligent in keeping the commandments of the Lord? Therefore, if thou wilt go down into the wilderness to my father, thou shalt have place with us. And it came to pass that Zoram did take courage at the words which I spake. Now Zoram was the name of the servant. Yea, and he also made an oath unto us that he would tarry with us from that time. And now we were desirous that he should tarry with us for this cause, that the Jews might not know concerning our flight into the wilderness, lest they should pursue us and destroy us.
So thinking about how Laban actually was, I mean, Laban was a freaking jerk to Lehi's family. He might have been a total jerk to his servants too. And when Zoram was like, "Wait, I have a chance to go live a free life,
Yeah.
not as a servant to someone." Yeah,
Might as well.
yeah, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Deuces, Jerusalem.
So it's 37 where it says, Zoram made an oath unto us, our fears did cease concerning him. Which, yeah, I don't think in this day and age I could have that same confidence in an oath that anyone swore, which is unfortunate. But yeah, that just goes along with what we're trying to learn, what we're trying to understand in this podcast is like, hey, we need to do what we say. When we talk to our wives and tell them, hey, we're going to do this or we're going to do that, like, we better make sure that we do it. Otherwise, they lose faith, they lose confidence, and it becomes a problem. So that's definitely something that I'd love to take from these chapters here.